Speaking of the little horn, it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Daniel 8:10 and 11. How do we understand this? How do we go about unraveling its mysteries? The key is his sanctuary. Here is the sanctuary, its layout minus the outer court. As we saw before, when trying to understand the little horn, the sanctuary is the context in which all else is to be understood. A minister of the sanctuary, and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched and not man, the earthly sanctuary and services being the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shewed to thee in the mount. Hebrews 8:2-5. So what does the sanctuary context tell us? The host of heaven. Recall our previous search to understand who or what the host of heaven is. The chiasm of Daniel 8 and 11, the first layer or outer layer of which contains the host of heaven and the God of gods. The recurrent pattern of God with his people, of which the host of heaven patterns with God. The intimate connection between Lucifer's fall and the little horn's waxed great to the host of heaven movement, culminating in the finding that both Lucifer and the little horn have a desire to sit in God's throne and be like God, ruler of the universe, but which would require theocide, the murder of God. Waxed great to the host of heaven is then theocide in the heart. Thus the host of heaven is God then. But God is where in the sanctuary? At the ark. That is where you find both God and his law. Again, recall the recurrent pattern of God with his people. Daniel 8:10's it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. An attack on God patterns with Daniel 7:25's he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall think to change times and laws, which we saw was a reference to the seventh-day Sabbath, the fourth commandment of the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments, and referred to an attempt to change it. So indeed, the ark, where you find both God and his law. Here's an artist's illustration of the ark, which of course contains within it the 2 tables of stone upon which are written the 10 Commandments. In the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims. Exodus 25:21 and 22. Note, the host of heaven is better defined as God's government, of which he is head and his law its foundation. We have God above the mercy seat between the 2 cherubims, the head of heaven's government. We have the cherubims, the representatives, heads of the angels, God's civil servants. The ark, God's throne, and the 10 Commandments within the ark, within God's throne, the foundation of God's government. The host and the stars. Recall our previous search to understand who or what the host and the stars are. The chiasm of Daniel 8 and 11, the second layer of which contains the host and the stars, the starry host of the NIV, and they that understand that instruct many. The pivotal defining verse, Daniel 12:3, which equates the stars to they that be wise, that understand, they that turn many to righteousness, that instruct many. The recurrent pattern of God with his people, which adds nothing new but just confirms that the host and the stars are they that understand, that be wise, that instruct many in righteousness? Thus, the host and the stars are God's people, specifically they that understand, that be wise, they that turn many to righteousness, that instruct many in righteousness, which in the context of the sanctuary are the priesthood of all believers. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people. 1 Peter 2:9. Note, this is just a repeat of what God said to Israel. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. Exodus 19:5 and 6. The prince of the host, who is this? Daniel 7 and 8. Daniel 8, 10 and 11. It waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. We know the first of these, the host of heaven, is God. The second of these, the host and the stars, is God's people, his wise instructors. And the third of these? Who is this prince? Daniel 7, verses 25 through 27, the angelic explanation. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, which we have seen is further elaborated with, and think to change times and laws. This is the equivalent of Daniel 8, 10 and 11's it waxed great to the host of heaven, and is the little horn's attack on God. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, which we have seen is further elaborated with, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. This is the equivalent of Daniel 8, 10 and 11's it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, etc., and is the little horn's attack on God's people. But apparently there is no equivalent to Daniel 8, 10 and 11's he magnified himself to the prince of the host. Apparently Daniel 7 has no prince of the host. Verses 9 through 14, Daniel's vision of heaven, in which he sees God's response to the little horn's attack on him and his people, as portrayed in what we just read in Daniel 8, 10 and 11, and Daniel 7, 25 through 27. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The judgment was set. The Ancient of Days is the equivalent of the Most High and the host of heaven. It is God. God's people are not in heaven, but on the earth, which explains their absence in the current passage, which, as we said, is Daniel's vision of heaven. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. Perhaps this is obvious, but the host and the stars. The prince of the host is the prince of the host and the stars. The prince of the host is the leader of the host and the stars, the starry host of the NIV. Continuing with Daniel 7, 9 through 14, and there was given him dominion and a kingdom. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Continuing with Daniel 7, 25 through 27, but the judgment shall sit, and the kingdom and dominion shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. Notice, Daniel 7:25 through 27 mentions given, kingdom, dominion, everlasting. The saints are given the kingdom and dominion, one that is everlasting. But we find the same in Daniel 7:9 through 14. Notice it mentions given, kingdom, dominion, everlasting. One like the Son of Man is given a kingdom and dominion, one that is everlasting. Daniel 7:25 through 27 mentions a judgment, and Daniel 7:9 through 14 is that judgment. How do we know? Well, who is this him? It is the one like the Son of Man, of course. The one like the Son of Man is the leader, king of the saints of the Most High. Since the host and the stars are the saints of the Most High, therefore it follows that the prince of the host is one like the Son of Man. Why emphasize like the Son of Man? Is the prince of the host human? The prince of the host is human. Daniel 8:10 and 11. The prince of the host. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Note: repetition is usually a good indicator of underlying structure. Waxed great. And magnified. Same Hebrew word underlyingly. Cast down. And cast down. Not the same Hebrew, but definitely the same meaning. Apparently, we have a repetition or parallel here. Let's examine the repetition. Verse 10. Verse 11. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. Yea, he magnified himself, even to the prince of the host. And it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. And by him the daily was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Any connection between the host and the sanctuary? They are connected in the same breath in to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot. Daniel 8:13. Both have not only been cast down, but after that they were trampled upon. Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints, and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of God through the Spirit. Ephesians 2:19 through 22. On one level, the host and the stars, God's people, are his sanctuary. Verse 10's waxed great to the host of heaven is an attack on God. We have seen this previously. So what is verse 11's magnified himself to the prince of the host? An attack on what? The prince of the host is divinity. Cloud rider. Who is the cloud rider of the Bible? Let's see what the Bible has to say. Yahweh, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Psalm 104:3. Yahweh, the clouds his chariot. The Lord, Yahweh, rideth upon a swift cloud. Isaiah 19:1. Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun. who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. Deuteronomy 33:26. The Hebrew translated as sky in this text could just as easily be translated as cloud, as it is in Job 35:5, 36:28, 37:21, 38:37, Psalm 36:5, 57:10, 68:34, 78:23, 108:4, Proverbs 3:20, and 8:28. The God of Jeshurun rideth on the cloud. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days. Daniel 7:13. One like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. Who is this? Yahweh, the cloud rider. There is another place in which the divinity of the Prince of the Host, the one like the Son of Man, is pictured, something we have looked at before. Recall the intimate connection between Lucifer's fall and the little horns waxed great to the host of heaven movement. The Most High is paired with the Prince of the Host, implying the Prince of the Host is divine. Thus, the Prince of the Host is human and divine. He bridges the separation between the God of heaven and his earthly children, and is none other than Jesus Christ, our great high priest, the only mediator between God and man. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that has passed into the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, Hebrews 4:14. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus. 1 Timothy 2:5. But if you will recall, we have already been introduced to our high priest. Recall the visions of Daniel 8 through 12 and their connection to the Day of Atonement. The dead ram, the alive goat, the 4 horns, the heavenly sanctuary that is cleansed, and the man clothed in linen of chapters 10 and 12. But this man clothed in linen of Daniel 10, he is high priest. He is clothed as the high priest on the Day of Atonement, all in linen. And this man clothed in linen, in chapter 12, he is shown to be God. He is seen standing between 2 beings, angels, cherubims. And God said in Exodus 25:22, I will commune with thee from between the 2 cherubims. This man clothed in linen, both high priest and God, can be none other than the Prince of the Host, one like the Son of Man. But there is more. Recall once again the intimate connection between Lucifer's fall and the little horns waxed great to the host of heaven movement. Recall the Most High is paired with the Prince of the Host. Why? This is because the attack of Lucifer is specifically directed at the Prince of the Host. Satan, Lucifer, as revealed in Isaiah 14:12 through 20 and Ezekiel 28:12 through 19. Isaiah 14:12 through 20. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Verse 12. Now we introduce Jesus Christ for reasons which will become apparent very soon. Revelation 22:16. I, Jesus, am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. Lucifer, from the Latin of the Vulgate, the underlying Hebrew actually means morning star, as so translated in the NIV. But Christ is the morning star. Ezekiel 28:12 through 19. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God, every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. Verse 13. Hebrews 3:1 and 8:2. Consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Christ Jesus, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched, and not man. And thou shalt set in the breastplate settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. Exodus 28:17-19. Look at the precious stones of both Lucifer and the high priest's breastplate. Lucifer has a sardius, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has a topaz, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has a diamond, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has a beryl, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has an onyx, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has a jasper, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has a sapphire, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has an emerald, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has a carbuncle, but so does the high priest. Lucifer has gold, but so does the high priest, for his precious stones are set in enclosings of gold. Notice that the entire third row of precious stones of the high priest's breastplate is missing from Lucifer. Lucifer has 3 of the 4 rows, 9 of the 12 precious stones of the high priest's breastplate. Now Lucifer was in the Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden has striking similarities to the sanctuary, specifically the most holy place, which the high priest enters into once a year on the Day of Atonement. And according to Hebrews, Jesus is our high priest in the heavenly sanctuary. But then Lucifer is nothing more than an anti-high priest, one who stands in the place of the true high priest, and equally one who is against the true high priest. And furthermore, he, Lucifer, is Antichrist, the original Antichrist. He stands or wishes to stand in Christ's place, to be like the Most High. Equally, he is against Christ, which became apparent to all the universe at the cross. Returning back to the study, the daily, what is that? The daily, Hebrew tamid. Burn incense upon it, a perpetual tamid incense. Exodus 38. The fire shall ever tamid be burning upon the altar. Leviticus 6:13. Set upon the table shewbread before me always. Tamid. Exodus 25:30. Cause the lamp to burn always. Tamid. Exodus 27:20. The daily equals the priestly ministry. Thus, the daily is the priestly ministry of Christ at the altar of incense, the lampstand, and the table of shewbread. Daniel 8:10-12. And it, the little horn, waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host, and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given him against the daily by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground. Note: repetition is potentially an indicator of structure. The host. The host. The host. And an host. Those are all the occurrences of the and host in the text. The daily. And the daily. Those are all the occurrences of the daily in the text. Cast down. And cast down. Those are all the occurrences of cast down in the text. Looks like a parallel, a repetition to me. Now let's look at our repetition. It waxed great, even to the host of heaven. It cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. An host was given him. By him the daily was taken away. Against the daily by reason of transgression. The place of his sanctuary was cast down. It cast down the truth to the ground. We saw previously that the host of heaven is God and his law. The host and the stars is the priesthood of all believers, and the prince of the host is Jesus Christ, our great high priest, the one and only mediator between God and man. But God in his law is opposed by Sunday sacredness. Recall the think to change times and laws of Daniel 7:25. The priesthood of all believers by a privileged priesthood, and Jesus Christ, our great high priest, the one and only mediator between God and man, by other mediators between God and men, priests, saints, etc. We also saw previously that the daily is the high priestly ministry of Christ, which is opposed by a counterfeit earthly priestly ministry. Finally, the place of God's sanctuary is heaven, and our eyes were turned from the heavenly to the earthly, worldly pursuits, worldly futures, worldly pleasures. The truth or reality of heaven was cast down. What is the transgression? Who are the transgressors? And an host was given him against the daily, by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground. Daniel 8:12. All other occurrences of the term transgression and the related term transgressor. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? Daniel 8:13. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. Daniel 8:23. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Daniel 9:24. We will first examine Daniel 8:13. Daniel 8:10 through 13. Is it a chiasm? I'm not sure exactly. Verse 13, the lower half of the chiasm is a question in regard to the attack of the little horn on heaven, the upper half of the chiasm, verses 10 through 12, so it could potentially contain more details on that attack. Layer 1. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. Daniel 8, 10, and 11a. And the host to be trodden under foot. Daniel 8, 13d. Note, the host stamped upon, and the host trodden underfoot. Layer 2. And by him the daily was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Daniel 8:11b. To give both the sanctuary, Daniel 8:13c. Note, his sanctuary and the sanctuary. Layer 3. And an host was given him against the daily by reason of transgression. Daniel 8:12a. The daily and the transgression of desolation. Daniel 8:13b. Note, the daily, transgression, and the daily, the transgression. This layer of our chiasm is the key to understanding the transgression, transgressors. Transgression, the transgression of desolation. The transgression is the transgression of desolation. Next we look at Daniel 9:24.